Here's what I can tell you. People sell their houses for 30 cents on the dollar every day. Like, so they definitely do it.
You bought one for $250
I did buy one
year.
for 200. Yeah, I did buy one for $250. But, so a lot of that comes back to, understanding the seller's needs and motivation and making sure that we're kind of, I always say, poking that pain in that conversation. Here's the way that I do it. Now, Becky, are you working in, I know you just turned your mic back off, but are you working in like a local market or are you working virtual?
I do virtual nationwide.
Nice. So, like, give me one of the markets you're working in.
Louisiana, like New Orleans,
Oof.
but then I get a lot. I've been getting some from Pennsylvania lately.
Louisiana, is that a non-disclosure state?
No, Mississippi.
Mississippi? Okay, I knew one of them down there was. Oh, but they're that weird title state. They're a little different. Yeah. Okay, so what would it cost me to put, laminate flooring in a house in Louisiana?
I don't know.
Awesome. That's the right answer, by the way. So this becomes the problem with the 70% of ARV, right? Minus repairs. I don't know what a roof costs. I don't know what a water heater costs. I don't know what any of these things cost in any other outside of Chattanooga, where I've done dozens and dozens of rehabs. I don't know. And honestly, I haven't even done a full rehab in like 3 years. So we're just rehabbing rentals right now. So this becomes the problem with that formula, right? Everybody agree? Like this is
I've got local investors there that will go check it out for me and tell me what they would pay, and then I usually will negotiate the price.
So how about if you didn't have to have local investors go there and do that for you?
That'd be wonderful.
Cool. You want me to tell you how to do it?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to tell you this works in 39 states. The 11 states that it does not work in are non-disclosure states. Does everybody understand what if you don't understand what non-disclosure state is, raise your hand and I'll go through it real quick. Okay, thank you for raising your hand. Thank you, Lewis. Appreciate that, for not being shy. So when you go to public record, you can see a lot of things. This is more than just real estate, but you can see what somebody bought a property for, what they sold it for, their divorce, like all that stuff.
Their taxes.
Yeah, there's a lot of public information. There are 11 states who their legislatures decided we want all of our stuff to be private. Cool, I get it, no problem. However, you know what I can't see? I can't see the price of houses. I can't see what something sold for, right? Now, you can go to Privy or MLS or Zillow sometimes and see what a property sold for that went through the MLS system. Actually, it's close. It's usually off by 1% because I can't use the exact number, technical stuff. But that's only realtor properties. We're not dealing with realtor properties, right? We're not in the perfectly flipped business. If the only way in those non-disclosure states is you have to do the 70% of ARV minus repairs, which is a challenge, right? So let's just, other than Texas, I got out of all those states and I just focused in this, unless you're there. If you live there, great, like different story. But if we're working virtual. So for me, no non-disclosure states. That was a hard no for us. Plenty of 39 other states to work in, plenty of places to make money. Except Texas. Texas is so big, you just have to, if you want to do business there, you just figure it out. But anyway, so what I would do is I would go in, PropStream, PropWire, whatever CRM you're using, and I would search cash sales around that property. Maybe, guys know how to comp. I don't need to teach you that, but I would start at half mile, go out to a mile until I got a good sample size. So I want to see what cash sales were around that property for, again, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, until I get a good enough sample size. Because what does that tell me? Who are we selling to? Anybody want to get a gold star? Cash buyers, right? For the most part, unless you're doing novations. And again, understand this conversation is based around wholesale. So we're selling to cash buyers. Go look up what cash buyers are paying for those houses. This is literally the answer to the test. This is what we did in our company for years and years. Like, I wasn't teaching new acquisitions people 70% of ARV minus repairs because there's too many places in there for you to fudge the number, right? We all do it, even me. Everybody gets into these calls and you're like, oh, it says 250, but I think it could be 270, right? And I know repairs are 40, but they could be 30. You know what I mean? You start to mess with the numbers and it affects your bottom line. So what are houses like yours selling for in this neighborhood? The cash transactions will tell you that. And it's very easy in, if you're using Privy, it's super easy. But if you're, even PropStream, I pull up those couple of cash sales. Maybe it gives me 5 or 6 cash sales in the last couple months. And I just right click on them, Google search, and I go, oh, That's a brick ranch house. I have a brick ranch house. That was built in 1970. I'm built in 1968. I'm going to call that apples and apples, right? Could there be some variation? Sure. That's why we want to look at 3 or 4 to get kind of a range. But if you look at what cash sales are, it tells you what people are willing to pay. That's a lot easier, right? That's so much easier. That's so fast. Like literally, there's no, I need to get off the phone and go do my numbers. Like you can, as you're asking Mrs. Smith, hey, Mrs. Smith, tell me about the house. Like what's going on? Like as you come in through the front door, like kind of just describe the house like we're walking through it, right? Whatever. I just need them to start talking. Because as they're doing it, I'm clicking, and I am, I'm pulling this up and I'm just sorting it from low to high. And I just want to see what the cash sales are. It just gives me a ballpark of what buyers are paying. So yes, Tim, what you got?
A lot of times I like to discuss with the seller what the properties are selling for that you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they're like,
perfect.
Wait, what? They're selling for that cheap? And
yeah.
like they're all like surprised. It's like, yeah. If you didn't know, you're not paying attention.
100%.
Like obviously your price is going to be wrong if you're not paying attention to the market.
So here's how I say it, Tim. I said it a minute ago. If you want to write one thing down, like this is one of the things. Hey, Mrs. Smith, let me take a look. Oh, okay. Here's what houses like yours in your neighborhood are selling for. That's the word. That's the sentence right there. Copy it.
That's the exact sentence that I use.
There you go. Here's what houses like yours are selling in your neighborhood. Looks like.
Not market value.
Yeah, don't say
not
shit
market
like.
value.
Yeah, quit even talking about all that stuff. Here's what houses.
Exactly.
Here's what houses like. Hey, it looks like and this is after you get the information, right? They may tell you it's pristine. They may tell you it's terrible, right? So that's going to adjust a little bit where you go in this. There is a little bit of on the fly that we're doing here, but let's say I'm looking at cash transactions and they're from 100 to 120. I don't know. That's cash transactions. I know that I need to make some money on this. So I might say, hey, Mrs. Smith, hey, looks like, houses like yours in your neighborhood where people need to sell them fast. They're selling for anywhere between, maybe like 72 and like 86,000, maybe 89 on some really nice ones. Does that sound like what you were looking for?